From Cornwall to Birmingham and Johnston and Bexhill, here's Ruben Spar on the radio.
Hello to Qymira. How are you today?
Very well, thank you, Ruben, for having me up on your show.
Thank you for letting me chat to me today. So, can you tell me how long have you been a orchestra conductor for?
Oh, that actually came by chance because I have always been in classical music because of piano, violin, with my mum being she was a piano teacher. So I thought that instruments-wise, it will always be violin and piano. I never thought about conducting. I never thought about, singing or anything. But then again, when I went to do soprano, that went a different turn. And the conducting came because I started writing music to merge the pop cinematic side, because I did film scoring and all of that. And because I wrote, these different pieces of music, and hence it would be more natural for me to conduct them at the same time. So hence now I'm conducting, and I've got the Qymira Symphony Orchestra that just formed, which will be a little bit different from the normal orchestra, classical orchestra.
Yes, we'll chat about that towards the end of this interview. So, can you tell me more about your debut single called Peridot?
Yeah. So that was actually a single that was released in Brazil, in Salvador. And this was during a period where I was bringing the foundation that I have that tries to help children in need in different places of the world, but it took me to Brazil for some work. And I thought, why don't we also do some collaborations with some Brazilian artists? And I came to know a few of them that were very talented. So the collaboration came, and basically with them singing in Portuguese, me singing in English, but then later on, very fast, it escalated to me singing and rapping in Portuguese. And then Perdão, the first song out there, and then proceeded to Sun and Sea, and also Vem Comigo. They all charted actually at #1 on the Bahian radio chart. So that's the story there.
So, can you tell me more about your foundation that you
yes
that you got?
So I didn't wake up one day to say, right, let me just start a foundation that way. It actually just came again by chance, because I happen to have quite a few friends who are Filipinos. And because I was in Hong Kong and, educated here, and also in LA, in San Francisco and LA. So a lot of my Filipino friends told me about their family, their friends, their problems in the provinces and all of that back home. And one day I just felt, really bad for these children that were living in the mountains, and they didn't have any shoes. They were walking barefoot, to these schools that were actually not even opening up because roofs were falling down because of the different typhoons and natural disasters. So I literally kind of almost, just, for lack of a better word, went to my piggy bank, if you like, and just thought, right, you know what can I do? Is there something I can do just to get some slippers for them or some school supplies? It started from there. And when I was working with these children, I realized, it doesn't take much for them to be happy. They just want to do something that they are good at and that they are passionate about. So be it singing, playing basketball, so music, arts, and sports. And they suddenly, shine. And what got me was because I was working with a bunch of children that had cancer in the Philippines. And their doctor actually told me that maybe you should keep doing what you're doing. And it was the pandemic at that time. I was on Zoom and I was just doing some drawing sessions with me playing the piano in the background for them. And as they come in after the chemo and everything, And they kept coming up to what I call the window, which is the computer, right? And I said, come up to the window, come up to the window. And they were dancing, they were singing, they drew and all of that. And I thought, this is something that we can all do. It's not just me, but a little goes a long way in places like these. So very soon it just kind of went into the different fields, from arts to music to sports. And I realized that there is something there, to be done. So it went to Brazil and also Jamaica and parts of Hong Kong. So I'm looking forward to basically developing it more with these children from different places in the world to work together and, just have fun together.
That's a great thing to do, to help support children that are in need.
Little something.
Yep, that's it. So can you tell me what about your single that release called Wait for No One?
Yes. Wait for No One was simply, in a way, a note to myself to basically say, you know what, you don't have to wait for somebody for your own happiness. Just grab basically your own life, create your own happiness, and grab the bull by its horns, and don't blame and don't rely on anyone. You can do it yourself. And so that's why Wait for No One. So it's a happy song. That's not just for me, but just basically saying, let's just do it. Let's not wait.
So can you tell me more about your latest single called the Labywrinth of Life?
Yeah, so that one is a little bit darker and a little bit more of an inward journey, because at the time my mum was very sick. So I basically went home to take care of her for a very long time, gave up pretty much everything of what I did. I was going through a bit of a rough patch, because all of a sudden I just felt like, okay, mum was sick and everything, but I realized that I was also not able to talk about it, not even to my very close friends. And one day I woke up and I just go, you know what, don't be so stupid. You don't have to put on your game face all the time, just be real and, share with people what you're going through. And, so what, if you're not continuing doing what you're doing, because life happens. And I realized that we all have stories to tell. There is always something, all of us are going through, and, in this, what I call labyrinth. And the most important thing is just to lend each other a hand and just see how we go through this labyrinth together. So I just wrote this, again, as a bit of a reminder for myself, but hopefully that listeners or viewers can also relate to what I'm saying. So
what's it like going on tour with Boyzlife? Because you just come back from Ireland. So what was that like for you?
It has been great. We did 4 shows from Belfast, Galway, Cork and Dublin. Each place very different crowd, very warm, all of them. And it's very special for me, because normally people hear my voice or whatever it is when they go on a digital platform. So it's kind of like like every artist, if they are not touring, if they're not doing anything live, it's more kind of like removed, from it all, from the action. And so in this case, we are really in the mix, able to connect with the audience for the first time, to share your story. Of course, they're not here for me, they're here for Boyzlife. But I'm kind of like saying to them, like, I know you're not here for me, but hopefully one day you'll be able to sing along to my songs if you like them. And, you're able to, again, be real with them, not to put on this great showman, of doing this song to the next song, but more just sharing why you wrote the song, why it's, how you feel about it, and the audience really liked it. And actually a lot of them came up to me afterwards to say, yeah, we felt it, and they enjoyed the violin, which is also a big plus. That was the first time I played the violin out there.
So I know I come over to UK to do some gigs. I know coming to Birmingham. So is there any other venues that you're looking forward to playing at?
Yes, many actually, because there are many iconic venues like Blackpool Opera House, Cliffs Pavilion, beautiful, the Birmingham, of course, Symphony Hall, all of them, because, it's not just I'm big on, I love architecture, I love history. So I'm always looking at, when was this built and, all of that, but also the legends that have played there from the Beatles to, Jimi Hendrix or, Adele. And, so to be able to, for me, I'm also big on like backstage changing rooms and things. So it's kind of like, oh my goodness, I'm actually getting ready to go on the stage, same place that Charlie Chaplin was in, which was where I was, last night in the changing room of the Olympia Theatre. So all of that I really look forward to. UK and Ireland just got a lot of musical talents and legends.
So, can you tell me more about the orchestra that you're going to put together?
Yes. Again, that came by chance. It's only because I was doing cinematic. It was actually for Labyrinth of Life. So Labyrinth of Life, I thought, what's better than to create a real labyrinth feel than to put all the strings together in different ways, so that sometimes they are all together like a wall of sound hitting you, and sometimes they separate. So like a maze, you sometimes feel like you're hitting a brick wall, but sometimes it converges or it diverges, and you feel like you have a path because of these different instrumentation. So I basically employed the strings to create that soundscape. So I had to use an orchestra to create that sound. And so when I was working with them, it was with the members of the Philippine Philharmonic and Manila Philharmonic, and they told me, okay, we've never done anything like this. You're asking us to not play with a score, so this is a bit tricky. And I said, it's because I really would love people not to play mechanically, but to feel the music and all of that. And then somehow the Qymira Symphony Orchestra was born, because they said, we just want to do something that's a bit different. So I feel very privileged to be able to do that with them.
So can you tell me more about the album that you're going to release soon?
Yes. The album is also called Labyrinth of Life. In fact, the video of Labyrinth of Life is going to be ready in 2 weeks, and that's actually going to be the trailer of everything that's about to come. It's also a feature film, TV series, as well as the album itself. And it will unveil a lot of what's coming, because I skipped right to the end of this album of about 15 songs. And Labyrinth of Life is the last song. So it's almost now working backwards to the beginning to then show with the video, then the viewers can actually see, oh, this is how it all started, the dawn of time, and, what happened in the different civilizations and all through the different, lives and whatever. And to now, the Labyrinth of Life at present and in the future. So yeah, that's to come. That's going to be something that will take up most of this year.
So as an artist, are you independent or are you a signed artist?
I'm independent, and we're releasing everything ourselves. And so far it's been working, but obviously never say never, we'll see what happens as these pieces of music and albums and projects, unfold. I have been approached by different record companies, but I also feel that not saying no is just because I know that I've taken a little bit of a different path, than other artists. And it's not just pop, it's not just singing, nor is it just violin, and it's not just, one thing. So in a way, it's a bit like, maybe I should just, write the story. When I say that, I mean, paint the story in such a way that maybe people will see, that's the blueprint, that's what you're trying to do. And maybe that will be the right time, we never know.
And there's a lot of hard work being an independent artist.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, there's a lot of responsibilities, and also how to make it work. And of course, you know, you're up against a lot of big establishments, I would say.
It's all about getting your name out there. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Exactly.
So, can you tell me, how long have you been playing the violin for?
Since I was 3.
So, I've got a question. So, what's the difference between a violin and a fiddle?
A violin and a fiddle.
Yeah, what is there a difference between them?
Well, I would say it's the sound and also what you play. And because, like, I play the violin, and a lot of folk music, like Fiddler on the Roof, you know, and also a lot of the Celtic music. And, you know, for example, in Irish music, and Scottish music, and a lot of the folk music, and even like Jewish music, a lot of them is more fiddle. And then, you know, violin, well, it's a broad term, you know, but at the same time, it's also the music that is being played, from classical to, you know, say electric violin, or, you know, that's more of a contemporary, you know, feel, obviously.
So, finally, can you tell me, listeners, where can they find you on your social media?
Qymira Official. So it's Qymira and then official.
Thank you for letting me chat to you today.
Lovely chatting with you as well, Ruben.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, and you too.
Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Bye.